Well, that was painful. We had it in our hands and we threw it away. We're going to go through the game, just talking on a few different things. Obviously, we're going to have to talk about Salah. We're going to talk about the goals. There's a lot of criticism coming in towards Nunes, Kelleher, the defense as a whole. I want to talk through it and I want to talk how fickle some fans can be because, listen, lads, we've had an unbelievable start to the season. Newcastle is always a tough place to go. And yeah, it was a draw at the end of the day. It's not the end of the world. Right, let's get into it. So first off, Arnie Slot is probably picking his brain. Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. How has he dropped points against these two teams? And to be honest, the Forest game and the Newcastle game, I think these are two completely different games. The Forest game, we were just completely lacking in creativity, in ideas, in our flow, how we played. We just weren't at it at all. Newcastle, first half we were poor. Second half we showed up. We definitely created more. Trent coming on was a big difference. But it was just a tough place to go. A tough game. Newcastle were up for it. The crowd were up for it. And they had a quality as well to punish us. Defensively, we were probably a little bit lapsed. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I thought the game as a whole, there were two very separate games. And a point at Newcastle is not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. Arsenal have obviously won against United. So it now is 7 points in terms of the gap. But that's still a long distance. And Arsenal need to win every single game from now until the end of the season. I just don't see it happening. So just need to keep the gap the way it is, keep pushing up until Christmas and then see where we land. In terms of the game itself, and we have to come to this man straight away, Mohamed Salah. He has now broken another record. So Mo Salah has now scored and assisted in more Premier League games than any other player in the competition's history with 37. The Egyptian king breaks Wayne Rooney's record, having played 214 games fewer than the Englishman. Like, it's getting to a debate now where if you have Hazard and Salah in the same debate, you're just beyond delusional. This man is so far clear and he's up with some of the all-time greats. He's closing in on Henry's record in goals. He's closing in on Rooney, on Aguero. And if he stays at Liverpool for another 2-3 years, he might end up being in the top 3 goal scorers in Premier League history. That is absolutely insane. The way he's playing right now, he's literally carrying Liverpool to a league title. And people are talking about the chances Nunes has missed, and I understand that, but I want to talk a little bit in terms of how Liverpool are different, and they don't play with a number 9. They play with a winger who is their goal threat. That's the way we play. Unbelievable again. 2 goals, and assist. He continues to do things that are just mind-boggling. He's absolutely phenomenal. He's key in games when you need big players. Every time there's a big decision to be made, he's there straight and center to take that on his shoulders and deliver. That's what he consistently does. It's what he's always done, and that's what he will continue to do. His contract will get sorted. There's talk that Van Dijk and Salah are to be offered contracts now in the next few weeks. So hopefully we get that sorted, and then we continue, and hopefully he'll get a Premier League, a Champions League, and maybe even a Ballon d'Or come the end of next year. Moving on then, so just some of the feedback that I've seen on Twitter and some of the discourse, lads. Like, we dropped points away at Newcastle, and after beating Real Madrid and Man City, you'd swear we have just dropped out of the top 4. We're on a run streak of 6 losses in a row. It is not that bad. A draw at Newcastle is not that bad. So Leela says here, when you score 3 goals, the drop points is on the defending. And I definitely agree with that. I think there was a lot of criticism coming to Nunes, and this is what John O'Sullivan says. Nunes was absolutely crap tonight, but some people put all the focus on him every time a result goes against us. Only Salah turned up tonight. The rest are crap. Even Van Dijk was off. But let's just go after Nunes, pile on him, and then give out to others who join in. Like, lads, Nunes was poor. He definitely did miss chances, but defensively, that's where we lacked. Joe Gomez, Kwanzaa, and Van Dijk, it did not look right from the very start of the game. Gomez got lucky as well in the first half. Kelleher had to bail him out. Kwanzaa was poor. He was basically pulled left and right. Gordon had a field day with him. And all around, it just didn't look balanced. It's obviously disappointing considering how good Gomez and Van Dijk were against Man City, but today was just a different task. Isak played really well. He obviously got a goal and assist himself, and Liverpool just couldn't live with Newcastle when they were going forward. They seemed to every time they were going forward, they were going to create a chance. Going forward, we're going to need to deal with it because Konate's going to be out for a while. Bradley's carrying a knock, and we're going to have to rotate between Kwanzaa, Gomez, and Trent because we're coming up to a lot of games. So it's going to be important that we get that right, whether it's against Everton straight away or in the following games. We need to make sure that we get that right because we can't be relying on scoring 2, 3, 4 goals to win games. That's not how we're going to win the league. In terms of Kelleher, I know Kelleher is going to come under a lot of criticism, and I was only chatting with Finn Streams in one of my comment section. He was saying that Kelleher should be starting over Alisson. I don't agree with that. I still think Alisson's a better shot stopper. His shot stopping percentage is 15% higher than Kelleher's, and that's a huge gap. I think Kelleher today, and we've seen him perform to a really high level recently. Obviously, he saved the penalty against Madrid. He saved one against Southampton. I know they scored a rebound, but he still saved it. He's produced a lot of good saves, even the one against De Bruyne at the end of the Man City game. And he's done really well. But at the end of the day, Alisson is our number one goalkeeper, and he's still a better keeper. The mistake at the end was just a lack of experience, or whatever you want to call it, a head rush. It was just really, really poor goalkeeping. And in that moment, you just need calm, collective, experienced heads, and that's not what we got. And then it ended up costing us at the end. But he's definitely saved us a few points this year. He was really good against Man City and Madrid, so I think we can let it slip. He does need to be getting all the criticism and everyone piling on him the way they are. But then just moving on to John's point there, the whole thing about Núñez is so up in the air. People seem to think because, like, say, like with this game against Newcastle, Isak and Núñez, they're the two comparisons. It's not the two comparisons. They might be the two number 9s, but Liverpool play in a completely different way. Salah is our goal threat. Salah is the one that we want in those dangerous areas, in those big moments. And Núñez, I know he's brought in for a lot of money, which is not his fault. But he's just not going to be that type of striker. And we understand that now. He's coming into his 3rd season. He's not going to be someone that's going to score 20, 30 goals in a season the way Salah does. They're just not the same type of player. And comparing him to Isak, I think, is not the right way of doing it, because it's like comparing Núñez and, say, Harvey Barnes, or Núñez and Anthony Gordon. They're going to have, Núñez and Anthony Gordon are going to have similar numbers because they're not their main goal threat. You know what I mean? Isak against Salah is the one that's the goal threat. And then Laurie says here as well, people can blame Kelleher all they like, but he stepped up immensely across the past 2 seasons. You know who hasn't stepped up for the 3 seasons? Núñez. I think that's unfair. I think Núñez, he definitely has had his moments. Last season against Newcastle, he scored those 2 goals to get us over the line, and that propelled us on even further as the season went on because it helped us build momentum. Núñez has had his moments, but there's no point in saying that he hasn't, for 3 seasons, been there and helped us move forward in the right way. He's definitely not going to be the striker that everyone wants him to be, but some of the criticism that he does get is just beyond insane. Like, yeah, like some of this, like for every like that I get, I'll name a better striker than Darwin Núñez. This had 151 likes. People, especially on Twitter nowadays, they just love to jump on the bandwagon when we don't perform. And the thing is, as well, against Newcastle, like as I said, it's a draw against Newcastle. It's not the end of the world. It's something that a lot of big teams struggle to go to. Arsenal lost there, Man City drew there. Like it's just a tough place to go. And to kind of wrap it up in terms of the overall performance, if you had it coming into these 3 games, Liverpool against Real Madrid, Liverpool against Man City, and then Newcastle against Liverpool, if someone had to say to you, you'll win 2 of them and draw 1, you would have bit their hand off. Like, it's definitely not the end of the world. We're playing Everton now on Saturday. If we win that game, it's 3 wins out of 4 in a very, very tough run of fixtures. And it just shows that we sometimes get a bit too greedy when it comes to results. We're a team that's on the upward, a team that's consistently improving. There's a lot more to come from this team, I think, under Slot. People saying that we haven't maybe performed to a level that we want, but I think we're starting to see a lot more signs that the players are starting to like Slot more. They're starting to understand what he really wants, and I think this team is only going to get better. A draw is not the end of the world, but it does leave us still in a very good position. 7 points ahead, still a lot to play for. Keep pushing, keep the gap going up until Christmas, and then we'll see where we land, because I do think this team is going to go on and win the league, regardless of this result today. So there we have it. Newcastle 3, Liverpool 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with the hate Kelleher and Núñez are getting? What do you think of the game as a whole? Do you think Liverpool let it slip? Should they have won? Should there have been different areas where we should have improved? We're very interested to hear your thoughts, but I shall see you on the next one. I'm missing for the Everton game, but I will be back next week. So yeah, I shall chat to you then.